Hey everyone, Xoranath here, and I want to welcome you to a new series that I am starting where I'm going to walk through the story of each of the Resident Evil games. We've been working our way through finishing all of the Resident Evil games on this channel. I've just really been loving the story and lore of the series, so I wanted to do some digging and research and untangle just what was happening and what was being told to us and shown to us in the games. This is going to be a long project that I've decided to tackle it game by game. We're going to start with Resident Evil 0, link to my full playthrough in the description below. What I'm going to do is stitch together the story of the game as it unfolds, piecing together files, lore bits, and dialogue sequences, and try to pull that all together in a cohesive and understandable way. I plan to only use information that the game itself is providing to me, and I intentionally did not look into anyone else's explanations or research or videos on this topic. What I'm going to do is pull together clips and file screenshots from my own gameplay. So this is going to be my independent read of the information. When you see gameplay, just know that that's my first time reacting to what we're seeing on the screen at that point. So that's before I started research. I am going to stick pretty close to the source material, but that said, there's always a potential that I'm going to get something wrong. Also, I'm not taking into account at this point what future games tell us until we cover that game. So it's possible that we'll learn more about some of these earlier events as we progress in the series. Maybe things will get retconned or go in a different direction than they initially intended. We'll find out. It's all part of the fun. Also, for this first video, I am going to start with a short history of real bioweapons research to provide some context for the Resident Evil games. I encourage you to watch that. I learned a lot in pulling it together, but if you want to skip straight to the games, I'll have a channel marker below. So come on, get yourself a nice hot beverage, get yourself a snack. Let's see what we have going on. Before we move into the games, I want to take some time to talk about some real-world bioterrorism and bioweapons. I thought this could be good to help provide some context for much of what Umbrella and others were trying to accomplish in the Resident Evil games. And I went into this thinking Umbrella and the T-Virus and zombies, they're pretty far-fetched. But you know what? After looking at things, humanity has actually done some pretty crazy things, and I think I have changed my mind a little bit on that. While there's a lot of science in Resident Evil that's clearly fictional or exaggerated, some of the motivations and some of the villain characters and just the conceptual underpinnings for the research that they're doing really aren't that far off from things people actually did. So if you want a good short history of bioweapons, I recommend Biological Warfare and Bioterrorism, a historical review by Stefan Riedel from Baylor University. I'll have a link to that down in the description. And many of the examples that I'm going to go over today are going to be based on that article. I will cite my sources if you guys want to do more digging into any of this in case you're interested. So what is bioterrorism? It's an attack with the deliberate release of viruses, bacteria, or other biological agents that are used to cause illness or death in people, animals, or plants. A biowarfare attack not only causes sickness and death, potentially in a large number of victims, but it can also create fear, panic, uncertainty, and it can cause disruptions. And these could be social and economic, could be the breakdown of government authority, and it could even be the impairment of military responses. There is a shockingly deep historical record for the development and use of bioweapons. I'm going to go over several examples, but I do want to emphasize that a lot of nations had bioweapons programs and did research, and this includes the US, the UK, Canada, France, the Soviet Union, Japan, and others. So the concept of bioweapons isn't limited to, any one country. One early and kind of very basic example of using let's call it a proto-bioweapon, occurred in the 1300s. So there was a city known as Caffa, which was a Genoese or an Italian merchant port on the coast of modern-day Crimea. Tensions between the Italians and their Mongol neighbors, the Golden Horde, broke out into a series of armed conflicts. The Mongols had besieged the city of Caffa. The plague, also known as the Black Death, had started to spread among the Mongol army, causing sickness and death. The Mongols started to catapult the corpses of their infected into the city to try to infect the city's inhabitants. So there is a translated kind of secondhand account from someone named Gabriel de Musi, which describes kind of what happened during this horrific event. And I'm going to put this up on the screen, but I'll read it for you guys. The dying Tartars, stunned and stupefied by the immensity of the disaster brought about by the disease, and realizing they had no hope of escape, lost interest in the siege. But they ordered corpses to be placed in catapults and lobbed into the city in hopes that the intolerable stench would kill everyone inside. What seemed like mountains of dead were thrown into the city, and the Christians could not hide or flee or escape from them, although they dumped as many of the bodies as they could into the sea, and soon the rotting corpses tainted the air and poisoned the water supply, and the stench was so overwhelming. That was, like I said, a very early and kind of crude example of a bioweapon. Now let's fast forward in time a bit to where technology has advanced enough to enable more sophisticated bioweapons development. Before and during World War II, Imperial Japan had a bioweapons research program. The main program was known as Unit 731, and this was in Manchuria, which is kind of that area above Korea and northern China. Now, this was a big program which consisted of over 150 buildings, 5 satellite campuses, and over 3,000 scientists. The Japanese studied a bunch of different bioagents, and these included B. anthracis, also known as anthrax, which can cause severe illness and death. Some of the symptoms include itchy blisters, bumps and sores, fever, chills, sweats, dizziness, and a bunch of other things. They also looked into Neisseria meningitis, which can cause meningococcal disease. This is a potentially deadly disease that has a bunch of nasty symptoms: fever, headache, stiff neck, altered mental state, nausea, photophobia, which is eyes being more sensitive to light, vomiting, and there could even be long-term effects such as brain damage, deafness, nervous problems. You can lose limbs, reduce kidney function, so lots of nasty stuff from that. They also looked at Vibrio cholerae, which can cause cholera and can result in life-threatening watery diarrhea and vomiting. They looked at Shigella, which can cause shigellosis. Some symptoms of shigellosis are diarrhea that can be bloody or prolonged, fever, stomach pain, and the feeling to need to pass poop even when the bowels are empty. So they're messing around with stuff that makes you think you have to poop. They also looked at Yersinia pestis, which causes plague, and this is the same disease from the Middle Ages, the Black Death, that we saw being weaponized in Caffa. Symptoms include fever, headache, chills, weakness. You can have swollen, painful lymph nodes. So you can see there's a connection between plague being used as a bioweapon, which is an interesting through line. This is several hundred years later. And the Japanese, they actually weaponized plague. They fed plague-infected rats to fleas, and then released the fleas from aircraft over Chinese cities to cause an epidemic. Estimates put casualties at around 10,000, but this also affected Japanese soldiers, and around 3,000 Japanese soldiers died from being infected with their own bioweapons. In the 1940s, the United Kingdom conducted some tests using anthrax on a Scottish island known as Grunard Bay. They detonated bombs that were filled with the B. anthracis spores, that's the anthrax spores, and they tied down sheep and exposed them to the spores from the detonations from the bombs. They then went and measured how much spores the sheep had inhaled and found it to be sufficient quality that it would have infected humans if they had inhaled, the same amount of spores. The UK also conducted bioweapons tests in the Bahamas, the Isle of Lewis, and in Scottish waters. In the late 1950s, the British government decided to abandon offensive biological warfare research and completely destroyed their stockpiles. Now, the United States also started a bioweapons program in the 1940s, and this included an R&D facility at Camp Detrick, Maryland, which is now known as the U.S. Army Medical Research Institute of Infectious Diseases. And there were also testing sites in Mississippi and Utah, and a production facility in Indiana. And then later on in the 50s, there was an additional production facility in Arkansas. The U.S. research initially focused on B. anthracis and Brucella sui. Now, we've already talked a little bit about anthrax, but Brucella sui can cause brucellosis, which can involve fever, sweating, generally feeling bad or malaise, not wanting to eat, headache, pain in the muscles, joint and back pain, and feeling more tired than usual. So those were some of the ones that the U.S. started with, and they even had produced around 5,000 of these anthrax bombs. The U.S. did do bioresearch testing on humans. They had a special spherical chamber known as the 8-ball. There, they would detonate biomunitions and see their effects on humans. Specifically, they used Francilia tularensis, which can cause tularemia, and they also used Coxiella brunetta, which causes Q fever. Tularemia can be a mild to life-threatening illness and can cause cough, chest pain, difficulty breathing, and fevers upward of 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Q fever is also one that can be serious and deadly, and symptoms for Q fever include fever, chills, sweats, fatigue, headache, muscle aches, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, chest pain, weight loss, cough. So lots of nasty things they were working on. There were about 500 accidental infections that happened at Fort Detrick, and these included at least 2 cases of anthrax and 1 case of viral encephalitis, which is the inflammation of the brain. Later on into the 50s, the U.S. also did some secret bioweapons testing on U.S. cities, including San Francisco, using the general population as test subjects. So what they did here was the selected bioagents were released over a large city, San Francisco, for various testing, and they used several different bioagents. Aspergillus fumigatus, which is a mold whose spores cause aspergillosis. This can have mild to severe symptoms, including wheezing, shortness of breath, and cough. They also used Bacillus subtilis varglobi GI, which is a non-pathogenic simulant for anthrax. So you can use that to kind of simulate how anthrax would spread. And lastly, they use Serratia marcescens, which is a bacteria that causes infections, including UTIs and pneumonia. And the testing on the human subjects actually did cause outbreaks of urinary tract infections for people living in the cities. By the late 1960s, the United States military had developed a biological arsenal that included numerous pathogens, toxins, fungal plant pathogens that could be directed against crops to induce crop failure and famine. Later, in the 70s, most nations agreed to a convention on the prohibition of the development, production, stockpiling of biological and toxin weapons and on their destruction. In the United States, President Nixon terminated the bioweapons program in the late 60s, early 70s, and since then, the U.S. has adopted a policy to never use biological weapons, including toxins, under any circumstance. The U.S. did destroy its stockpile of bioweapons in the early 70s. The U.S. still does research bioagents for countermeasure purposes at that old site of Fort Detrick that we talked about earlier. All that said, there has still been development and use of bioweapons since the 70s, particularly state-sponsored terrorist attacks. One really interesting case was a covert assassination of a Bulgarian exile in London, known as the Umbrella Killing. The assassin actually injected a tiny pellet into the target's leg that contained the toxin ricin via the tip of the umbrella. The target became ill and died 3 days later. Ricin's a nasty toxin. It works by getting inside the cells of a person's body, and then it prevents the cells from making the proteins they need, and then without the proteins, cells die, and then once you scale this up, it's harmful to the whole body and could eventually kill you. The Soviet Union and its Russian successor state also had a very robust bioweapons program, existed well into the 90s, and employed upwards of 30,000 people. Now, the Soviets had a research facility known as Compound 19 in Sverdlovsk, now called Katerinburg. In the late 1970s, Compound 19 had an accidental release of anthrax, and it led to an epidemic in the city. Following this incident, research was continued at Stepnogorsk in Kazakhstan, and this involved developing more powerful strains of anthrax. And later, in the 1980s, the Soviets continued their research in remote facilities in Siberia, and this included weaponizing smallpox. So moving into the 2000s, there were the anthrax attacks in the United States following 9/11. There were letters that were laced with anthrax that were mailed to specific targets. 5 Americans were killed and 17 were sickened. Dr. Bruce Ivins, who is a former government scientist, was blamed for these attacks, and he committed suicide when the FBI was about to bring charges to him. He had actually worked for 30 years as a civilian microbiologist in the Army's biological research lab at Fort Detrick, so he was actually involved in all this. Apparently, his work involved trying to develop a better vaccine against anthrax. According to one study from 2022, there have been 33 terrorist attacks involving biological agents between 1970 and 2019, and this resulted in 9 deaths and 806 injuries. There were 21 events in the United States, 3 in Kenya, and 2 each in both the United Kingdom and Pakistan, and a single event in Japan, Colombia, Israel, Russia, and Tunisia. And then of these events, anthrax was by far the most common agent used. I want to talk just a little bit about the COVID-19 pandemic. There's still some debate as to the origin of COVID, including whether its origins are natural or the result of a lab leak. To my knowledge, this debate hasn't been satisfactorily settled, and there's kind of conflicting determinations from U.S. agencies on this. So that said, I'm just going to briefly discuss COVID from the perspective of the lab leak theory, purely so that we can look at it from a bioweapons context. So I know we're all sick of and familiar with COVID-19, but just for consistency of some of the other things. It is an illness that can cause death. Symptoms include fever and chills, cough, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, sore throat, congestion, loss of taste and smell, fatigue, and muscle and body aches. China maintains a facility known as the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Scientists at this facility have worked on public health related projects and collaborated on biosafety and biosecurity research efforts with the Chinese military. Scientists at WIV have created what's known as these kind of chimeras, or combination of coronaviruses that kind of have different pieces of them through genetic engineering. Dr. Redfield, not to be confused with Chris Redfield or Claire Redfield, who is the former CDC director, noted the biology of the virus, including its rapid high infectivity for human-to-human transmission, and also the rapid evolution of the new variants, or some of the evidence for this potentially being a lab-made virus. It's alleged that WIV researchers didn't adhere to proper biosafety practices and perhaps became infected with the virus they were working on. And this virus spread allegedly from the researchers at the facility in Wuhan to Wuhan proper, and eventually globally. In any case, COVID-19 was highly effective in spreading and mutating in humans and causing illness and death, which would make it a potent candidate as a bioweapon. According to the World Health Organization, over 7 million people have died from COVID worldwide, with about 1.2 million of those in the United States. And of course, the true number may be much higher due to underreporting. I want to talk a little bit about some things that are not bioweapons per se in the traditional sense, but they do have relevance to the research in Resident Evil. So we have the MK Ultra program, which briefly, MK Ultra was a covert project by the CIA, essentially looking into mind control. Its primary phase involved using federal institutions, hospitals, pharmaceutical houses, and specialists with the intent of finding new substances for brainwashing. The second phase in the 1950s involved administering these substances to unsuspecting U.S. citizens. The program consisted of 149 separate funded sub-projects, which included things like hypnosis, human behavior, sleep research, and behavioral changes during psychotherapy, and it also included the capability to incorporate biological agents in delivery systems. The CIA believed that MK Ultra would reveal a procedure or drug that could, when administered to an interrogee, would free that person's mind of rational inhibitions, hence giving the interrogator access and control over their mind. Put this all together, and what I want you to take away from all this when we start to talk about Resident Evil. First, bioweapons and mind control research and their use has a very real, long, and horrific historical precedent. Bioweapons and mind control researchers have tested many different biological agents, including viruses, bacteria, toxins, fungal spores. Governments have been willing to fund large and secretive bioweapons and mind control programs. Sometimes these were tens of thousands of people. Governments have been willing to overtly and covertly test bioweapons and mind control agents, including on live humans. And lastly, the effects of bioweapons are horrific and they can cause serious illness and death. Real historic bioweapons research focuses on administering bioagents to targets in order to sicken or kill them. Resident Evil's focus on bioweapons takes a little bit of a different angle. Much of the bioweapons research we're going to talk about is more about administering bioagents to living or dead organisms with the goal to create a monster with combat capabilities. The other key element is not just creating that monster, but then having the ability to control it. Most, if not all, of the bioweapons research in Resident Evil has these aims in mind. So we'll start our discussion of Resident Evil 0 by introducing Dr. Marcus and Spencer and the events that happen before the game starts. Through various notes in the game, we learn that in December of an unknown year, as of this game, but definitely prior to 1978, Dr. Marcus discovered the progenitor virus. In March, Dr. Marcus's business partner Spencer decided to found the Umbrella Corporation, and Marcus would continue his research into the progenitor virus. The two wanted to use progenitor to develop bioweapons and sell those weapons to willing buyers. In August, Spencer pushed Marcus to become director of the Umbrella training facility. Marcus was annoyed by this, but he agreed because he really just wanted a facility to continue his research into progenitor, where no one would get in his way. In November, Marcus complained that Spencer just wanted to make money from progenitor, whereas Marcus seems to have more of an interest in the actual research and development of the virus. We see a power struggle developing, and Marcus views Spencer's influence in Umbrella as bad for his research. And in this game, we really just get Marcus's perspective. We don't really get any of Spencer's perspective. From a bloody letter, we learn that Umbrella's management training facility is located 8 miles north of Raccoon City in the Arkley Mountains, and its mission was to train the leaders of Umbrella. Applying the strictest and most rigorous training standards, this facility will, without regard for gender, race, creed, produce only the best candidates to be global future leaders of the Umbrella Corporation. Discipline, obedience, unity. These 3 words are the basic principles that govern the Umbrella Corporation employees and are to be considered the law of this facility. 2 notable Umbrella personnel that went through this training program are Albert Wesker and William Birkin. The facility's assistant director saw something special in both of them. Albert was described as being practical, and William was described as the opposite of Albert, being more of a scholar. But both were incredibly competitive, and there was something ruthless and cruel about them. Within a secretive lab in the training facility complex, Dr. Marcus was administering the progenitor virus to various living organisms to test their viability as bioweapons. We learned that progenitor causes violent cellular changes and a breakdown of the creature. A main drawback is that the creature cannot be controlled, thus limiting its use as a bioweapon. From Marcus's testing, we learned that insects exhibit explosive high-energy growth and increased aggressiveness. Frogs gained increased leaping power and abnormal tongue growth, but no mental changes. These frogs would attack any moving objects because of their increased appetite. Monkeys exhibited increased fertility, improved aggressiveness, some increased mental capacity, and improved hearing, but they did lose vision, so they became blind. Dr. Marcus concluded that the usefulness of all 3 of these animals was limited for bioweapons. He determined that he needed humans to be used as the base unit for his research. Dr. Marcus made his most important breakthrough when he mixed progenitor virus with leech DNA to create the tyrant or T virus. Marcus began testing T virus on rodents, but he became frustrated with his results. He wanted to experiment on humans. Dr. Marcus began to administer T virus into leeches in February of 1978, and this is one of the few concrete dates that the game actually gives us. Dr. Marcus thought that the leeches made good candidates for bioweapons research because of their single-minded nature, their will to survive, and their parasitic and predatory nature. After 7 days, the leeches doubled in size. They also started to multiply rapidly, doubling in number every hour. However, they started to cannibalize each other, and in March, Dr. Marcus started to feed the leeches live food, but the food, whatever this live animal was, fought back, and some of the leeches died. The leeches started to adapt and develop group attacking behaviors. They stopped cannibalizing each other after they were introduced to these other food sources, and by April, the leeches started to act as a collective and lost individual behavior. Dr. Marcus notes that an employee stumbled upon his leech research, and he starts to wonder if humans could be used for food. By June, the leeches begin to mimic Dr. Marcus. And what I mean by mimic is they form together in a giant collective that resembles humanoid shape. We learned from a trainee's diary that the trainees were also aware of Dr. Marcus's weird obsession with leeches, and they were wondering what exactly he was researching. Someone named Dennis became ill with a fever after touching one of the leeches. He was seen being overcome with extreme itchiness and scratching himself. The author of that memo also became infected. Must maybe go. If can, but how? Dennis gone, I go. Hungry, help, mom. So we could see the effects of the T virus kind of scrambling the mental capacity of this person. We also find a list of 15 correctional institute inmates, apparently, that were being used as research subjects. 4 of these subjects died and were disposed of. 7 were transported to unspecified research facilities. 2 subjects named W. Keith and A. Davids were preserved as specimens, and 2 subjects named T. Carey and A. Kate were transported to the Arkley lab. In November, Dr. Marcus started to become paranoid that someone was becoming suspicious of his research. He starts to think about using them as test subjects if they get too close to what he's actually doing. In January, he declares that his leeches were ready. He was ready to move against Spencer and take over Umbrella. He planned to announce the discovery of the T virus to the Umbrella directors meeting and gained the recognition that he thought he deserved. In January and February, someone started to disturb the security around the entrance to his leech lab. He is suspicious of Spencer's men looking for the T virus leeches. He also had the lab manager around this time change the entry code to his lab, and he seals some of his leeches in special capsules and hides them away to keep it away from Spencer's men. He wants to use William and Albert to figure out who's trying to break in, and Dr. Marcus also notes that no one will take his children away from him. So he starts to refer to his leeches as his children. So we will learn a little bit more about what happens directly after this, but for now, let's fast forward in time. The training facility has been shut down for many years. Umbrella is revisiting the facility with an investigations unit, and they are trying to determine whether the facility can be reopened. There are 2 investigations units. There's a unit on site and a support unit. We learn that the training facility is more than just a training facility. They are going to investigate the remains of a lab and what's left of an abandoned experiment. We learn about a bioweapon known as Type Y139, which was a crustacean infected with T-virus. We also learn more about the T-virus and that even small doses of it can have remarkable changes in solidity, size, and multiplication of internal toxins in brain development. However, the head of this crustacean is very fragile. It has a fragile carapace. Umbrella was hoping to control these effects to create a bioweapon. Wherever this first team came from, they were also working on Type Y139 research, which they paused to conduct this investigation of the training facility. Now, they weren't sure if the training facility was also working on this Type Y139, but if they were, then the team was hoping to collect data and samples that would further their own research. The team was also aware of reports of bizarre murders happening in Raccoon City, and they start to wonder if it's the result of the T-virus. During their investigation, they discover that there are chemicals scattered throughout the facility and note that they will need a system to deal with them all in order to reopen the facility. We learned that the investigation teams were attacked and had to fight back with gunfire. They weren't told about the creatures in the facility before going in. They believe their leadership wasn't aware of the creatures being there, but I think we have reason to be suspicious of that. They start to suspect that someone was deliberately releasing the virus. The investigators noted that Dr. Marcus had disappeared many years ago and that his research was kept under wraps since then. They found evidence of Dr. Marcus's research into progenitor. It's unknown how many human test subjects were ultimately used, but they estimate that it was no less than 20, and some of these were actually taken to keep the research secret. So I guess people that were starting to become aware of his research, he would take them and conduct his experiments on them. The investigators were also aware that the experiments were alive and growing and that the fruits of his research now roamed the facility. Now, this takes us up to the events of the game proper, so we're now in July 1998. This is where Dr. Marcus unleashes the T-virus-infested leashes onto an Umbrella Corporation train called the Eclipse Express. The leeches begin to attack and infect the passengers. 2 hours after this attack, STARS Bravo team is sent to investigate the area, investigating some reports of these strange murders. The team includes Captain Enrico, Rebecca Chambers, and someone named Edward, and there's also a few other unnamed members that never have speaking roles. Their helicopter gets attacked and they make a crash landing. They learn that the military was transporting a prisoner named Billy Cohen for execution, and we see the dead military police that were escorting him.
Do you think so too?
Yeah.
Do about it.
Hold off for a while.
But I wonder how those R&D people would react to this.
Ew, that's a fleshy sound. Yo, who was that? Ew! Oh my god, where's his leeches? Is that the Leech Master? Yo. I look like a Dynasty Warriors character. Zhou Yu up there.
It began as a simple investigation of some bizarre murders in the suburbs of Raccoon City. Nothing in our training could ever have prepared us for the nightmare that ensued. We never stood a chance.
What's going on? Engine failure. Emergency landing.
If you're ever in a helicopter in Resident Evil, R.I.P., you know what's going down.
Check the current position and investigate the surrounding area.
Captain, look! Captain!
What happened?
What's our character's name? Do we know yet? Lady and man?
Court order for transportation. Prisoner Billy Cohen, ex-lieutenant, 26 years old. Court-martialed and sentenced to death July 22nd.
Sentenced to death? What'd this guy do?
Prisoners to be transferred to the Regathon base for execution.
Those poor soldiers. They were good men just doing their jobs, and that scum murdered them and escaped.
All right, everyone, let's separate and survey the area. Our friend is brutal and ruthless. Keep your guard up.
Keep your guard up. He has a fun voice.
So this is pre-mansion incident.
A train?
Are there zombies yet, or are we fighting like leeches? The Polar Express. The door to safety is shut. There is no turning back. Open the door to safety. Let's get out of here. Okay, whoo. Rebecca begins to investigate the train and discovers T-virus infected zombies.
This is Officer Chambers from STARS Bravo team. Please identify yourself.
Oh, we're Rebecca. Okay.
Is someone there?
The government has announced that it has set out
Gross.
but as of 2 years ago, when several funds were set out, the local government kept
Rebecca Chambers. Ooh. Oh.
Ow!
Ow! Fucking stop!
What just happened? I thought they were dead.
While inspecting a dead train employee's corpse, Rebecca runs into escapee Billy, who runs off after Rebecca attempts to arrest him. Suddenly, Bravo team member Edward bursts through a train window, bloodied and injured. Edward warns Rebecca of zombies and monsters in the woods. Then a T-virus infected dog attacks. Oh, who's that?
Billy. Lieutenant Cohen.
So, you seem to know me. Been fantasizing about me, have you?
Gross.
You're the prisoner that was being transferred for execution. You were with those soldiers outside.
Oh, I see. You're with stars. Well, no offense, honey, but your kind doesn't seem to want me around. So, I'm afraid our little chat time is over.
Wait! You're under arrest.
No thanks, Dollface. I've already worn handcuffs.
I could shoot, you know.
Oh my god.
Edward! Are you alright? What happened?
I got fucked up.
Worse than... We can't. You must be careful, Rebecca. The forest is full of zombies and monsters.
Zombies and monsters.
At least this guy's real with us. He's not like, I don't know what it was. He's like, zombies and monsters. Oh. Oh, zombie dogs. Those are the worst. Come on. After exploring the train some more, Rebecca receives a radio message from Captain Enrico, who warns Rebecca about the dangers of Billy. She then runs back into Billy, who suggests that the two team up. Rebecca's very hesitant to join the criminal and continues alone for now.
This is Rebecca. Over.
This is Rico. What's your location? Over.
Enrico! Hello! Can you read me? Please respond.
Rebecca, I can hear you. Now listen up. We've obtained detailed information on the fugitive from a document found in the wrecked wagon. Billy Cohen killed as many as 23 people. Over.
Oh my god.
23 people.
We have also confirmed that he was institutionalized, so keep your guard up. Can you hear me, Rebecca? Over.
It's about as many people.
You wouldn't think twice before killing you.
Enrico! Captain! Hello? Hello!
He's killed about as many people as there are flavors in Dr. Pepper. We have to do something. That was all it was for? Yep, get that out of my inventory. Billy.
It's gonna be dangerous from here on in. Why don't we cooperate?
Cooperate with you?
Listen, little girl, if you haven't noticed, there's some pretty freaked out things on this train. And I, for one, want to get out of here. I don't think we stand a chance doing it alone.
You expect me to trust you, a wanted felon? I don't need your help. I can handle this on my own. And don't call me little girl.
All right, Miss Do-It-Yourself. What should I call you?
The name is Rebecca Chambers, but that's Officer Chambers to you.
Well then, Rebecca, why don't you go and try while I wait here?
Rebecca then runs into T-virus infected leeches and discovers they can form into a humanoid shape. Billy saves her from this encounter. They briefly see Dr. Marcus and then agree to work together to get off the train. My dog's going crazy. Is that Joe Biden? Joe Biden on this train? Joe Biden caused the T-virus to spread? Is that what's happening here?
Excuse me, sir. Sir.
Ew. Ew, the leeches eat some. Oh. Alright. Let's maybe get out of there. Ew. Oh my god.
Are you okay?
That was freaky, yo. I wasn't expecting the leeches to like form a humanoid body. That's new. It's the zombie from Resident Evil 9. It's that lady.
Who is that guy?
What's going on? Who's controlling the train?
Go and check out the first engine car. Listen, we gotta cooperate with each other from now on. You got...
Well, I don't...
Clue in, girl. Or maybe you like being worm bait.
All right. But you just remember, I will shoot you if you try anything funny.
Fine. Now take these with you. If you find anything, give me a call, all right?
As they continue to explore the train, more leeches begin to hatch. Oh, I needed to grab that for this door to open? Ew. Rebecca eventually encounters and kills bioweapon type Y139, the T-virus infested crustacean. Oh my god. Is it the crab monster? Oh my god. His weakness is his weak carapace head, scorpion head. Oh my god. GG, guys. Soon we see that Umbrella has also sent a team known as Delta Team to secure the train. Wesker and William are confused as to how the T-virus got out and order Delta Team to destroy the train, but the unsuspecting Delta squad members get consumed by the leeches. Oh?
This is Delta Team. This is Delta Team. We have gained control of the train. Over.
Understood.
This does not make any sense.
Wesker,
How was the T-virus leaked?
Wesker and
why did
Birkin.
it contaminate both the lab and the mansion, as well as a train almost 3 miles away?
That's irrelevant. We must make sure no knowledge of this gets out. Destroy the train. Completely. How far away are you from the nearest branch line?
About 10 minutes to...
Huh? What happened?
Billy and Rebecca then learn that the train is out of control and will crash, so they look for a way to stop the train.
The train will either derail or crash.
Hit the brakes.
I gotta stop this thing.
They manage to slow the train down, but not enough, and it crashes, ejecting them out into the underground of the training facility, and they're immediately met with more zombies as they exit the flaming wreckage.
I'll go over to the back deck and manipulate the control panel for the brake. Then you apply the brake from here, okay?
All right.
Okay.
Billy,
What?
be careful.
Yeah.
Thank God. I did not enjoy that puzzle. At least we're off that freaking train.
Rebecca? Rebecca!
I'm here.
Are you alright? Hey, you managed to stop the train.
Yes, we managed.
We have to find a way out.
Oh my god, he's just using his shot shells? Rebecca and Billy then make their way into the Umbrella training facility. We see Wesker and Birkin watching them on security cameras. We also learn that Wesker and Birkin murdered Dr. Marcus 10 years ago, or in 1988, and he tells us that he unleashed the T-virus to get revenge on Umbrella.
The Umbrella Research Center? First general manager, Dr. James Marcus.
Who on earth are those people?
She's just a rookie, a member of STARS.
What about the male?
I'm unfamiliar with him.
Attention. This is Dr. Marcus. Please be silent as we reflect upon our company motto. Obedience breeds discipline. Discipline breeds unity. Unity breeds power. Power is life.
Who are you?
It was I who scattered the T-virus in the mansion.
Oh?
Needless to say, I contaminated the train, too.
What?
Revenge. On Umbrella.
Sephiroth? With my army of leeches.
Dr. Marcus?
10 years ago, Dr. Marcus was murdered by Umbrella. You helped them, didn't you?
They make their way through the training facility and encounter T-virus infected Umbrella personnel and some of Dr. Marcus's insectoids. Move, Billy. Please move. Jesus. We need to run. They even encounter a giant centipede. It's unclear to me whether this centipede was an intentional experiment or if it mutated accidentally just via exposure to the virus. There are notes related to testing on insectoids, but I took those notes to mean the grasshopper-looking ones. In any case, it becomes exposed to T-virus in one way or another. Oh my god. Oh my god. Billy!
Rebecca!
What the hell?
Billy!
Alright, bro.
Rebecca! Are you all right?
Yes, thank you.
Rebecca and Billy make their way to the basement of the training facility. There, Billy and Rebecca get separated. Dr. Marcus releases his T-virus infected monkeys to attack them. Rebecca gets ambushed and falls into a hole, hanging on for dear life.
You are wasting your time. I have already claimed this place for myself, which means you are trespassing. And I am very territorial.
What is that? T-virus monkey. Oh my god. Guys, T-virus monkey. Oh my god.
It just doesn't make sense. Do you honestly believe this to be the real identity of that crazy young man?
Is that Birkin and Wesker?
But if somehow it is true, then Umbrella will be finished.
If the old conspiracy against Dr. Marcus is revealed, Mr. Spencer's career will be over. Not to mention ours, too. So, the time has come at last.
What are you going to do?
I will simply say goodbye to Umbrella. The biological weapon utilizing the T-virus has almost been completed. Our only remaining task is to acquire combat data.
You can't be serious. I refuse to abandon my work. I have finished the research on the T-virus, but I need a little more time to complete the more powerful G-virus.
Yeah.
Do as you wish. I will follow my initial plan and lure the STARS members into the mansion. Their superior combat training should make them perfect test subjects.
Fine. In the meantime, something must be done about that madman. As I recall, URC is equipped with a self-destruct device in the basement. I'll find it, set it off, and annihilate the place to nothing more than a mass of rubble.
I can't. Hold on. Oh.
After Billy saves Rebecca, we get some bonding between the two. Rebecca lies and covers for Billy when Enrico asks if she found him. Billy tells her his story. We see that Billy's unit commander ordered them to kill innocent villagers, but Billy protested, but others still in the unit slaughtered the villagers.
Rebecca!
Oh, she thought she was down here.
Hang on. I'll pull you up.
Got it. Okay.
Thank you.
Don't mention it. Just keeping my word. We promised to cooperate with each other. Remember?
This is Rebecca, over.
Rebecca, this is Enrico. Have you managed to locate Cohen yet? Over. Rebecca, answer me.
No, sir. I have not found him yet. I'll continue to search for him, over.
Rebecca.
My first mission, and I've already disobeyed orders. So much for my great law enforcement career.
This is our first mission.
Probably won't live long enough to worry about it. Billy, I just need to know. I need to know the truth. Did you kill 23 people? I'm not going to judge you. I just want to know the truth.
It was around this time last year. Our unit was ordered to Africa to intervene in a civil war. Our mission was to raid a hideout of some guerrilla forces located deep inside the jungle. But the hideout was far away from our entry point. Some died from the heat. Others were killed by the enemy. In the end, only 4 of us survived.
Huh.
Only, there was no guerrilla hideout.
What do you mean?
The idiots in charge had us operating based on wrong information. But we couldn't just go back home empty-handed, oh no. Our leader ordered us to attack an innocent village.
Oh my god. War crimes.
Get rid of them! Kill them all!
Please, sir! Ceasefire immediately!
Shut up! Do it!
R.I.P.
Don't stop!
So did you execute those innocent people?
Forget about it. Doesn't matter anymore. That was then, this is now. Besides, you said you wouldn't judge me.
I'm not judging you, but it does matter. Look, now my people think you killed those MPs in the van, but I don't think you did. It was those zombie dogs, right? When they attacked the van, you were able to escape. Isn't that right?
You don't get it. I've only got 2 choices left. Either report to the Marines and serve out my sentence, or keep on running for as long as I can. That's all.
After some more exploring, the two make it back to the observatory and find a secret control mechanism that leads them to a nearby church. Oh? Oh. Maybe we can't go back now. I don't know, man. Inside the church, Billy finds and must fight a giant T-virus-infected bat. Again, it's unclear whether this was an intentional experiment or just some bats that became infected by accident. Oh! 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 No. 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 Fuck me. See, I need, this. I'm panicking. Billy and Rebecca make their way under the church to a secret facility and find and repair a cable car. However, when they're about to board, another T-virus infected monkey attacks and pushes Billy off the rails and down into the abyss, separating the two once again. Oh my god. Fucking baboon. Well, shit. Rebecca eventually makes it down to the cable car to the factory. Well, guess we'll wait for him to meet back up. Rebecca makes her way into a giant industrial elevator and descends even deeper into the facility. At the bottom, she runs into Captain Enrico of the Bravo Squad, and they go their separate ways. Rebecca says she never sees the captain again. I feel like we should have brought all that shit with us. If we die, we will. Oh, we're down now. This is where all the evil shit's down here. All the evil residents are down here, guys. Deeper you go in these games, is eviler it gets. Look at all that shit. Alright, I saw something shiny over this way, and I don't want to ignore it. Oh no. They baited me.
Don't shoot! You're alive.
Are you okay, Rebecca?
Where is everybody?
They should have arrived here before me. Haven't you seen them? That's unfortunate. If we go straight from here, we should arrive at an old mansion which Umbrella uses for research. Come on, let's go.
Huh.
Wait! I've got to find Billy.
Billy Cohen? You mean you found that criminal?
Yes, but we got separated and...
No point worrying about him. He won't make it. Come on, let's go.
Sir, please. I need to find him. Don't worry. I'll catch up with you.
Rebecca... All right. Just be careful.
Oh.
I never saw him again.
Oh, shit. Not much later, Rebecca gets ambushed by a tyrant and has to fight this terrifying creature. Uh-oh. I'm about to pull that magnum out. Ew, 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 ew.
What is that?
Oh my god. Oh my god, that's terrifying. Why's he got a freak finger? Where's that magnum at? Oh, we're dead. We're Dunzo Magunzo. We're dead. I need to run. Please help. Oh my god, guys. it's so gross. Well, now what, Rebecca? It's gonna blow his face off. Just fucking unload on him. Jesus Christ. We're stuck in this corridor. Go. Jesus. There's nothing. What am I gonna do here? After defeating the tyrant, Rebecca soon takes yet another elevator down, this time to the treatment plant.
Playtime is over. You and your friends no longer amuse me. Good riddance. Now nothing will stop me from getting my revenge.
I'm gonna go out and say it. That guy's a little bit of a freak. A little bit of a leech freak. Guys, don't be a leech freak. Once in the treatment plant, Rebecca sees Billy unconscious in the water and some creatures swimming about. Billiam! Oh my god, what in the hell was that? Ew! Is that a fish they injected with it? Billy's going through it. Rebecca works her way deeper into the plant and eventually finds and wakes up Billy.
Rebecca, where am I?
You're safe now. Are you okay?
He looks like he's seen ghosts. Unspeakable horrors.
What could have done this?
They must have been used as test subjects in Marcus's research. He must have kept messing around with the mother virus.
Billy?
They soon discover the corpses of some of Dr. Marcus's test subjects. They start to encounter even more test subjects, these ones being completely naked. We also start to see some of the frogs that were infected. He explains that Wesker and William assassinated him 10 years ago, and his queen leech crawled into his body through his mouth and infected him. He became a T-virus leech monster man. Oh my god. Is he dead? Oh, it hates fire. Deep within the treatment facility, Rebecca and Billy run into a room full of leeches and into Dr. Marcus himself. After this explanation, he mutates even further into a horrific sinewy monster and battles with Rebecca and Billy. Gross.
Welcome, young ones. So glad you have joined the party. You are the guests of honor. After all, it's your wake.
Who are you? Dr. Marcus?
No, you can't be. What's going on?
10 years ago, Spencer had me assassinated.
Oh my god.
Time to die, Doctor.
I will take over your research.
Wesker.
Oh, Wesker and Birkin. You fucking betrayed me, you assholes.
Now I'm a leech monster.
However, something wondrous happened.
Ew.
It took the T-virus inside of my queen years to procreate my new life.
I live. Now I will have my revenge on Umbrella, and the world will burn in an inferno of hate.
That first part was alright, but like,
You'll pay for what
that second
you've done.
part, not
We'll
good.
see which one of us is gonna die.
Get him, frog monster. Ew. Grody. Oh my god. Rebecca, grab your magnum. Let's fucking unload on him. Rebecca and Billy defeat the monster that Dr. Marcus became. Gravity. Rebecca and Billy try to escape the facility and ride up an industrial lift. At this point, Wesker and Birkin have activated the facility's self-destruct device. Dr. Marcus was not yet dead and attacks them and destroys the lift. Rebecca and Billy have to fight him once more. Resident Evil loves these kind of lifts. Like, that's Umbrella. That's an Umbrella staple. At like a 45-degree angle.
It's the Queen!
The Queen? Oh my god.
The self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel evacuate immediately. Repeat.
Uh-oh.
Who activated the self-destruct system?
Come on, can't this thing move any faster?
Oh my god. So grody.
Shit!
The self-destruct system has been activated.
Billy and Rebecca open the ceiling hatch, exposing the creature to light and weakening it. Billy finishes it off with a magnum shot. Rebecca and Billy say their farewells, and we see that Rebecca is now standing above the Spencer mansion.
The self-destruct system has been activated.
It reminds me of Resident Evil 9 a little bit, actually. Look at this big gun.
Billy!
Oh.
Hey, Queenie! Feast on this!
There it go. Oh my god.
Rebecca, hurry!
There it go. Billy, we have to get you back to jail.
Hey, that must be the old mansion that Enrico was talking about.
Uh-oh.
I guess it's time to say goodbye. Officially, Lieutenant Billy Cohen is dead.
Yeah, I'm just a zombie now. Thank you, Rebecca.
Hey, we did it, guys. To recap, the timeline begins when Dr. Marcus and Spencer discovered a progenitor virus, and Dr. Marcus then creates the T-virus. By 1978, he is infecting leeches with the T-virus. Wesker and Birkin assassinate him in 1988. 10 years later, in 1998, Marcus returns via the power of leeches. He unleashes those leeches to get his revenge on Umbrella, and we get the events of Resident Evil 0, including Rebecca and Billy exploring the training facility and eventually confronting and defeating Dr. Marcus. Resident Evil 0 is a story about a battle for power and control of Umbrella. There's several strong narcissistic personalities competing. We see the rivalry between Marcus and Spencer, with Marcus being really obsessed with the science and development of his leeches, which he views as his children, and Spencer, who's out to make profit by selling the bioweapons. Both Marcus and Spencer try to use Wesker and Birkin to further their power grab, but Wesker and Birkin assassinate Marcus to solidify their own power within Umbrella. We also see just how dangerous and uncontrollable their research is. We have Marcus deliberately releasing the T-virus in an act of revenge, and things ballooning out of control from there. On the flip side, we have the unlikely pairing of heroes with Rebecca and Billy. They learn to trust each other and are really just trying to survive the chaos that they're thrown into. By the end, everything's tied nicely into a bow and set up for Resident Evil 1 to start. And with that, we will conclude the story of Resident Evil 0. We'll move into the original Resident Evil for our next video. I hope you guys like this one and that you have a better understanding of both real bioweapons and the story of Resident Evil 0. This one took me a lot more time and effort to research and pull together than my videos usually do. So if you like this and you want to see more, definitely give me a signal and like the video or leave a comment. Let me know what you want more. I had a ton of fun pulling this together and I'm really looking forward to doing this for the next game. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Consider subscribing if you want to follow the series, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.